Tomb Raider, Legacy of Atlantis hasn't even released yet, and it's already got some fans concerned. Why, you may ask? Well, it's simple. Because Lara Croft's new voice actress recently described the game as being for the girls, guys, and the gays. Yeah, I know what you're thinking, the dreaded G word. Now, for some people, it may not really be that big of a deal. Completely harmless. But for other people, a massive red flag. And whether we want to admit it or not, that specific reaction isn't necessarily about that one quote. Excuse me. It's about trust. Because over the last couple of years, gamers have repeatedly watched studios use the exact same language. Modern audience, representation. We are updating the franchise. And most of the time, the final product, the result, it feels less like an evolution and more like a franchise that has simply become embarrassed of the very things that made it what it is. When playing and reviewing this franchise or this game, you will find that not only has the character changed, but the tone has changed as well. And the primary audience, as a result, feels pushed aside. And then inevitably, the game disappoints. So what do we do about that now? Gamers have developed pattern recognition. So when the actress is over here talking about this new Tomb Raider is for the girls, the guys, and the gays, some people might actually hear that and be like, okay, I guess she means everyone is welcome. While another subset of the internet might just hear,
Oh shit, here we go again.
because if you think about it, the quote in and of itself isn't really sinister at all. I mean, the voice actress has also been quoted saying that no Lara's left behind, meaning that she apparently wants to combine classic Lara Croft with the more modern versions of Lara Croft. And honestly, that's actually kind of cool. It's actually encouraging. But unfortunately, audiences today no longer just react to messaging in isolation. We compare it with past experiences. And honestly, guys, is it also kind of weird how we just got here? I mean, 1 minute we're discussing Assassin's Creed 4 Resynced, talk about the backlash, and then somehow we ended up talking about Marathon, and then God of War Laufey, and now Stellar Blade and Tomb Raider. I mean, I think it's official when I say that I have officially lost my train of thought. But anyway, I'm reminded of this idea that Taleb also mentions. Basically, the what doesn't kill me makes me stronger. The technical term for that particular type of experience is what they call hormesis. So you can think of, for example, your muscles. If we add enough stress on them and give them enough time to recover, they come back stronger and most of the time even bigger. So that's an example of hormesis. So the interesting thing is we can actually apply this concept to gamers as well. Like if you give people enough bad experiences, of course they will generally adapt towards that thing. So the first time a studio says something like, we are updating this game for modern audiences, people will stay open-minded, of course. But then given enough disappointments, especially with that kind of value messaging, eventually people will start noticing patterns. And of course, certain phrases will also trigger certain alarm bells. The industry trained them or trained us to be this way. And the uncomfortable part or the uncomfortable truth about this is that that suspicion is not irrational, but then at the same time, it isn't proof either. Because your immune system can actually protect you, but it can also overreact. And honestly, this is also where both sides of the argument or the equation start becoming a bit exhausting. Because one side of the argument will say, if that quote worries you, then you must hate gays. The other side of the equation says, she mentioned the gays, therefore Lara Croft is dead. And it's like, is she though? You know? It's like both of these arguments simply miss the point. Because it's like one of the arguments ignores why trust collapsed in the first place, and then the other side of the argument simply just mistakes suspicion for evidence. The far more simpler question is basically, what happens to Lara Croft? Because these are not necessarily the same thing. Saying that everyone can enjoy Lara Croft versus Lara Croft must change in order for every demographic to feel represented. You see, one of those will expand the audience, but the other simply risks touristification. And as you know, touristification is when something really good gets mangled and shaved and sanded off until it retains none of the qualities that made it special in the first place. And I would even go on a limb and say that's actually the main fear beneath this backlash. We don't necessarily care about who gets invited, but it's more of a what gets changed. Because the entire experience of Tomb Raider has nothing to do with who gets to play the game. Anyone is allowed to play the game. We just want to make sure that everything about Tomb Raider simply stays Tomb Raider in the first place. And right now, I'd even say that Crystal Dynamics has an opportunity or a chance to actually learn from this backlash. Then they need to make sure that this game satisfies and remains true to what Lara Croft is supposed to be, and not make the mistake of diluting the fantasy, because once that happens, another studio would look at the mistakes that Crystal Dynamics actually made, and they could possibly or potentially come up with a new heroine, give her all this roaring backstory, respect the fantasy, market the adventure before the demographics, and simply let the character attract people naturally. So I'd say no. This quote from the actress doesn't necessarily mean that the Tomb Raider franchise is now dead. However, it is a stress test, because after years of broken trust, gamers are no longer interested in asking the question, who is Tomb Raider for? But they're mostly more concerned with, will Lara Croft still feel like Lara Croft?
Is it safe to say you don't trust people?
No, I don't. You know, when you trust somebody, you get this done to you. All they want to do to you is all they want to do. Trusted somebody before, this would happen. You let them get close to you. This is all they want to do. This is all they want.